maybe start high level, Ed. I'm just curious how you think about Bullish, Ed, and its role in the broader market here.
Yeah, absolutely, and thanks for having me on. So I would say Bullish is an international crypto exchange. So similar to Coinbase, they offer buying and sellings of different digital assets. Um, they also operate and own some media assets such as Coindesk and also provide information services. And I think the big difference there is these guys mostly focus on markets outside the US. And I think one of the big opportunities for them is to maybe get into the US where competition is a little bit less intense domestically than it is in some of these international markets.
And it sounds, Ed, like their focus is also, listen, they're very focused on serving institutions, Ed. How excited, generally, would you say, enthusiastic or institutions about this space? I mean, we know retail investors, plenty excited, but how would you gauge the excitement of institutions?
Yeah, I mean, we could even argue that retail penetration in the US is actually decently high, where during last bull market, millions of people signed up for either Coinbase accounts or Kraken accounts, where that actually got penetrated fairly quickly. On the institutional side, we can probably argue that there's a lot more runway for growth, just given that historically institutions did not have access to these crypto exchanges. And so that probably does differentiate a Bullish a little bit more from a Coinbase, where Coinbase historically does kind of focus more on that retail user, while Bullish is a bit more on that institutional, whether it's a market maker or algorithmic trader.
So Ed, for investors listening, how big is the ultimate opportunity here for a company like Bullish? Can we try and put some numbers on it, quantify it?
Yeah, I mean, again, in the institutional market, also the pricing is going to be much, much lower. So the take rate that these exchanges earn on institutional trade is going to be fractions of what they are in retail. And then alternatively, on the international markets, these are much, much more competitive. You're competing with companies like Binance, OKX, Binance, and what you see is the fee rates in these international markets are razor thin versus what we see in the US. And I think that's one thing that Bullish has done a good job at, is they've still been able to grow while kind of competing on pricing. So it'll be interesting if they can kind of maintain that lowest cost provider aspect within the US,
Ed,
if they can get in the US.
This theme, Ed, we see, I mean, more crypto-focused names making their public debuts. I mean, so it's Bullish, it's eToro, it's Circle, it's Galaxy on the NASDAQ. Do you expect more to come, Ed?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, there's a ton of pent-up demand, especially from the equity markets, for these types of companies. So historically, equity investors weren't able to get exposure to crypto companies, and alternatively, it was really just retail traders that could get access to these crypto exchanges. And I think what's different about this cycle is you're just seeing a lot more companies, whether they're newly listed companies like Circle and Bullish, or even these emerging crypto treasury companies, where it just shows you that there's tons of demand from both retail and institutions for these types of companies. In the coming months, I'll add there's going to be a number of companies have publicly are confidentially filed for IPO. So we have Bullish that just came out, but a number of other companies have also confidentially filed, and we're expecting those to kind of come out over the next couple months.
Ed, I have to ask you, we were just showing the response to Bullish there. When you see that response, whether it's Bullish or to Circle, Ed, does it seem kind of frothy to you, Ed? Does it seem kind of, I don't know, SPAC-like, or no? These responses we're seeing, they seem reasonable to you?
Yeah, I mean, look, these are, I mean, for Bullish and Circle, these are IPOs rather than SPACs. So I think just a lot more, honestly, investor protection on some of these more IPOs, while historically the SPAC boom did get a little bit crazy in terms of probably not the same protections and rules that an IPO would have. But I mean, I think some of your points are valid. We've seen a lot of demand for these crypto treasury stocks, and volumes on those have been extremely high. And if you look at the valuations for a lot of these companies, we're actually we're definitely extended versus where we're historically. And so I think if there is a scenario where some of this does cool down, you can make the case that some of these crypto companies probably do have a bit more of an extended valuation.
Is that why, Ed, we just showed there you got a sell slapped on Circle. You don't have many sells, but that's one of them. Is that why is it a valuation call?
Yeah, I mean, we also have a sell on Coinbase, and I think our view for Circle is, look, this is a terrific company. They've got a great moat within their area of stable coins, especially in areas like DeFi and crypto exchanges. That being said, the stock's trading at over 80 times next year's EBITDA, which is a wide premium to some of these other crypto companies. And so I think it's a combination of, yes, valuations for that one, and as well as Coinbase does feel a little bit extended here. And then just meanwhile, just as institutions start to embrace digital assets more, I think it's still to be seen how much the incumbent financial companies have a say in this space. So whether it's companies like Stripe or JP Morgan or Bank of America, if these companies start to enter the blockchain industry and offer their own stable coins or crypto trading capabilities, it does kind of make us wonder how much of a moat some of the larger crypto companies today have.
I want to end here, Ed, on some comments. I did hear from execs at Bullish today. They said they were taking the proceeds in stablecoin, Ed, which I thought was interesting. What do you make of that?
Yeah, again, I have not had a chance to talk to management, so I'm a little bit behind on you there. But I mean, I think they have some plans to invest that into Solana ecosystem and maybe help that Solana ecosystem get more liquidity. But I think that's going to be a very nuanced opportunity for them.
All right, look at that pop today in Bullish, showing it there. Ed, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Great, thanks for having me on.